Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Minister and officials. In the Treasurer's speech, the Treasurer promised to provide all foster, kinship and permanent carers an allowance increase of around $400 or more a year at the lowest level. There are 12,804 children, Minister, in foster, kinship and permanent care at the moment, paying $400 to each carer cost $5.1 million in that year. You've budgeted for $3.6 million, enough for $281 a carer. Can you clarify whether there are any carers not getting the $400 the Treasurer promised?
Thank you, Mr Pizzuto, for your question. The indexation of payments applies across the payments, and it will result, as we said, in an increase in care allowance payments of at least $400 per annum for carers receiving the level 1. Indeed, for those children with the highest support needs, it will indeed be more than that and can be for an increase of allowance payments of at least $1,700 at level 5. What I would say is that the child protection system is a very dynamic system.
No, we understand that, Minister, but is every carer getting an increase of $400 or more?
Mr Pizzuto, if I may, the system is a dynamic system, and
that wasn't the question, Minister. I'm not going to allow you to filibuster. Please answer the question.
Excuse me, Deputy Chair. Deputy Chair, the Minister is attempting to answer your question.
No, the Minister's
because you don't like the answer doesn't mean she's not answering it.
It's a simple question. Will every carer get the $400 or more?
Thank you, Chair. I am attempting, Mr Pizzuto, to be helpful and to answer your question. As I said, there is an increase in care allowance payments of at least $400 per annum in 26-27 for carers receiving the level 1 care allowance. And for those carers for children with the highest support needs, this can result in an increase of allowance payments of at least $1,700 per annum in 26-27 at level 5. Sorry, Chair, it's difficult to answer when there are interjections from
Mr Redden,
the committee.
No. Minister to proceed.
Thank you.
Point of order, Chair. There's a simple question. We've now heard the Minister give that spiel twice. The simple question was, will every carer receive a $400 or more increase? The answer is either yes or no. It's not a full-page filibuster.
On the point of order.
Excuse me.
We've heard the details.
Excuse me, Mr Redden. You have raised a point of order. Mr Hilakari wishes to speak on the point of order. Mr Hilakari.
The Minister's seeking to give an answer, but she's constantly interrupted through this whole session, and it's unfair to the Minister and it's unfair to this committee because there's important evidence being gathered for our report to government.
It is important.
So be appreciated.
No answer.
Even now you can't even help yourself from interrupting through the point of order. That's the problem.
I'm going to rule on the point of order. There is no point of order. The Minister is attempting to answer your question. Just because you don't like the way in which she answers it, the committee needs to hear the evidence that the Minister wishes to proceed with. Ministers to proceed.
Thank you, Chair. And as I have said, as Mr Redden said twice now, in response to both the $400 increase for those at level 1 through to the at least $1,700 for those at level 5, what I was about to go on to say before the interruptions was that it is a dynamic system. The number of carers in the system at any point in time goes up and down depending on children in the system and the needs of the system. And as usual, there'll be updated...
That's okay, Minister. You've now veered off the question. You've veered off the question. I'm going to proceed.
I'm very on
In light of regulatory changes and increasing compliance... No, the answer I've allowed a wide opportunity.
You can afford the Minister
no, but it was veering off the question and I want to proceed. In light of regulatory changes, Minister, and increasing compliance obligations across the early childhood education and care sector in Victoria, concerns are growing about the operational pressures being placed on providers, particularly following the recent announcement by G8 Education that it will close 12 services in Victoria. Can you, Minister, guarantee that no additional childcare centres in Victoria will be forced to close as a result of the increased regulatory fees and compliance costs imposed by this government? No, I'm asking about the impact of the cost. I thought we talked about respect, Chair.
Excuse me, Deputy Chair, it would be good if you showed some leadership with respect. We're on to day 3. Excuse me. Now, you've asked the Minister a question. Do you wish her to answer?
It was your colleague to your right who stopped it.
Excuse me. Minister, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very excited that you've asked that question, Mr Pizzuto, and I really hoped you would. I just wanted to previously close off the other answer that I was not allowed to give, which is that updates will be provided in the usual way through the budget process in what is a dynamic system in relation to child protection and the allowances that are paid. But absolutely, let me come to the question you have just asked, and in particular G8. And I have had raised with me by a number of members of the Parliament on the other side the closures of G8, and in particular I've even been written to by some members of the opposition in relation to some of the services at which Mr Jonathan Brown worked, which are G8 services that are on the list to potentially be closed. But let me say at the outset, and what I said a number of times in relation to the child safety review, and Ms Chatterjee asked a question which I hope to have some time to come back to in relation to the national agenda, because one of the recommendations of the rapid review here in Victoria said was that the first consideration should always be the safety and well-being of any child in our early education and care systems.
Agree. I'm asking about the impact of cost and regulation because we need to maintain access. So,
thank you, Mr Pizzuto.
Can you tell the committee, have you undertaken any consultation or asked your department for any modelling to ensure the sustainability of the sector? Yes, we all agree about the increase in standards, all agree about that. We're talking about the viability of the sector. Can you tell the committee whether you've undertaken any modelling or consultation?
Thank you, Mr Pizzuto. When it comes to the modelling that has been undertaken in relation, if we just take specifically regulatory fee increases, for example, the increased cost of the regulatory fee increases per child raised from about 16 cents per week to about $1.20 per week. Now, $1.20 is the rate in which, for the increased regulatory fee, which is 11 times the current fee, $1.20 per child. Now, if companies like G8 are unable to absorb a fee increase of $1.20 per week per child in the interest of ensuring that the paramount interests and wellbeing safety of every child are paramount, then I make no apologies for that, because
no one's asking you to apologise. Have you consulted with the sector?
The absolute first priority is the safety and well-being of each and every child in our early education and care system. Your side signed up to supporting that.
No, I'm not going to accept that, Chair. We're not talking about, this is not about politicising a very important issue. Don't politicise an important issue, Minister. I've asked you. We all agree. We all agree on the need for high safety. We called for it. We called for stronger measures than you did. But I'm asking you, do you even talk to the sector? Do you consult with the sector? And are you aware of any other imminent closures?
Mr Pizzuto, the early education and care framework, and why I hope to be able to come back to Ms Chatterjee's question, is a national framework of quality and safety. What we want to see is a system that has at its core the priority being the well-being, the safety of every single child.
I just want a simple answer.
Every single child. Mr Rouswell, on the other hand, though, has written to me opposing the closure of the very services in which the alleged paedophile worked.
I'm just not going to accept that as part of the
I can table the letter if you don't accept it, Mr Pizzuto, because
why won't
exactly
you? We've been trying to ask
done.
simple questions, Minister.
Would you like me?
Have you consulted? Have you consulted with the sector?
Excuse me, Deputy Chair. We will accept what the Minister is proposing to table. Thank you. On behalf of the committee, we accept it. Now, did you have a question, Deputy Chair?
We've had plenty of questions.
Well, I
can't
suggest,
seem to
well,
get
it's
straight in.
very
So
difficult when you keep asking and talking over the top of each.
Let me cut through it all. I'm just trying to think of a question that will give you a fair opportunity to give this committee a simple yes or no answer. So here I go. Minister, you've been in the position now for some time. Can you assure this committee, can you assure the Victorian people that because of your work as Minister, kids in Victoria's childcare system are safer today than they were the day you started as Minister? Yes or no?
Not every question is yes or no, Deputy Chair.
Well, notice.
And you'll soon realise that.
Chair, I'm more than happy to take the...
Take it on notice.
Minister, I'm going to stop you there, Minister. We're going to go back to Ms Katherjean.